further. That's an orange to draw the Orioles, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. And this is our neighbor's place, which you can't see very well because of all the trees, and that's just the way it's planned. There's Charlene's some of the flowers she planted, I think, just this week. Some of those columbine plants. And I'm going to go to the front now. As you can see, the neighbors are getting ready to have a party. There's an Honor Nebraska evening over at the pool tonight. There's the next door neighbor's car that they're selling of mine. It looks almost as good as when I owned it. Everybody's getting ready to have a big party. Again, here's some of Charlene's plants that she planted, I think, just this week. And well, there's some cypress mulch that I am going to have to end up planting. Some extra work here. Back there's the backyard, or the woods, whatever. Here's a picture, a nice picture of the flowers that Charlene said I could not keep survived over the winter. Bear witness. They're looking pretty good for dead plants. Charlene wanted me to go around the back and show you her flowers that are over here that she's been working on this week. And there's where some of the cypress mulch is going. And that's the woods. Back in there's the walking path that I'll show you a little bit later. There goes Marshall. He's getting ready for the party tonight, taking stuff up to the pool, which is right up in between those houses, right up there. Can't see it, but it's right back up in back of our houses, which is right across the street from me here. This is just a little bit of our garden that's out in back of the house. We got tomatoes in, and Charlene has got some sort of pet project going down there. And down there's a little rock wall that Charlene just planted some stuff that's supposed to grow all summer long, or bloom all summer long, hopefully. I'll walk along the wall here, hopefully without breaking my neck. And I wanted to show you these clematises, how nice they looked. And that's the hanging plant that it's got, I think, 5 different kinds of perennials in it. Pretty neat. I'll go back down and show you the trail. This is a view of the back side of our house, and a little stream that runs through here, and we're trying to get this cleaned up and make it better. Little flower gardens back here. As I go around the back, you see through there's a little park back there that some of the people in this area use for playing soccer. And right down in there is a bridge that crosses the stream. And as you can see, there's where the trail goes, and it goes in back of all these homes that are in this area here. This is my backside of my neighborhood. And there's our backside of my deck, back up in there. And as you pan down here, there's the rock wall. Hopefully all the plants will grow real well in. And then of course it goes back down over here into the trail, which I'm going to go down to here in a minute. And this is the rock wall that I spent a whole bunch of time on. And it's pretty obvious that I didn't do too well on, but it serves a purpose and it's kind of neat. It goes back along this trail, which I'm going to go along here in a minute. And then there's a little stream that runs right here. That's just a little one that mainly is spring and water coming off of the yards and things like that. That's where this one comes from. And right in here is a bone of contention because people keep stealing rocks off of my wall. This is where the rock wall, people keep stealing rocks off here. If I ever catch one, I know what I'll do. But it looks through here and that goes back here into those areas where I told you that the people played soccer back in there. And now I'm just going to kind of walk through this path to show you how it is in back of the house here. And if I were to turn to my right here and look up in there, how my house is right up in there somewhere, so you can see how thick it gets here in the summertime. And over here is what's left of the original old rock wall that came through this farm before everything else was tore up. And if we go way back down there, there's a park back in there where we go. I don't know if I can get it from here or not, but I'll try. Yeah, I think I can. Way back down in there's a little park where we go with Zach and Chad once in a while. And over here's the stream. There's a little park area right in there with a park bench on it. and the walking trail is back in back of it. This is a kind of a view from the other angle if you're walking back through it from the other side. And this is the stream that runs back down in back of the house, and of course there's the field I was telling you about, and right in back of that field over there is where the railroad goes through, and it's usually not this quiet here. There's usually a bunch of trains going through here at this time. But it's a pretty good sized field back there, and because there's railroad tracks back there, then nothing will ever be built back there. And I'll try and pan around here to show you. Right back up in there is where our house is at. And this is the walking trail, and those are the houses in back of us. And of course, I'll try and get up here and show you how the walking trail goes back down along there. So if you want to go for a walk, you can go for a pretty good sized hike. So our house sits right here to the left, and our next door neighbors are doing a great job of getting their yard looking great. Hi everybody, this is an introduction to 5215 Big Branch. I think that's what we're going to call it. I'm standing outside on the south end of the property, and how do you like that? Growing wild here. Some irises, which somebody must have planted some time ago. And these are the stone gates on the south end of the property. And here's the road that kills people off. And what I'll do now is I'll go forward a little bit, and I'll get back down in around that pond and take a better picture of how the pond looks. There's some of the scenery though from here, and I'll bet it's gorgeous here in the fall, even more so than now. Alright, I'm just above the pond now, and just going to give you a quick view here of, obviously I've got to get some, I think they said copper sulfate has to go in there to clean that all up, but it's supposed to be 7-pound bass in there. We're going to find out. You can see there's somebody put a fence around here. I think that's what I'm going to use to patch up some of my other fence. So this would be one of the building sites right here, I'm thinking. Possibilities anyway. But back over there where I'm pointing right now, right back over in there, way back in that field back in there, that's the middle building site that I'll be shooting a little bit later. But you can see what a high view that we have from here. And back up in there is my van somewhere. You can see the height of this grass. It's waist tall right now. And I want to get a shot of a fence that eventually I'm going to have to fix, I think, down here. think I got some work ahead of me there. But I'm going to intend to use that barbed wire right there, I think, to patch it up. Well, I'll go get the second view now of Branch Creek itself, this inlet to the ocean where the Loch Ness Monster has been seen several times. I've changed my plans again. I've decided to show you a little bit. Looks what that First Views Valley looks like down below here, and over there would be the that middle building site right over in there. But right here's Big Branch Creek, and then I want to show you something else here real quick. There's some flowers blooming over here. I'll be right back. These are the flowers. Had to wait till the car went by before I blasted my ears off here. These are just growing wild along this fence line here. Aren't they gorgeous? This is on the other side of the road, of course. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go with the north end of Big Branch. (5215) Big Branch. That's just a little cattle drinking pond that's down there. And again, here's what's across the road from us. And there goes somebody that isn't driving like a maniac. It's amazing. Way up there is where I initially started taping. Right back up in there, and back down in behind there is where that big pond is. And now we're going to go down to the middle building site. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little bitty, looks like bass or something right there. Could be little Loch Nesses, I guess. This is the part, that's where I started filming, way up there. And this is the creek, how it goes back up there. And we have driven through, right through there. Came from the road back over there. This is where we came through. And it's neighbor's fence. And then we're going to get to it here, but back up in there is where I'm thinking is the best building site of them all. I'll be right back. Okay, this is what I missed last time. This is shooting right across the fence at my neighbor's pond, and I'll try and get a shot of his gazebo that he built back in here. And you can kind of understand why He was one of the people that wanted the property that we got simply because it adjacent his property. And anyway, this is the trees and stuff that are on the etc. that are on the northeast end of the property. And back out in there is where the van is. And all those are my trees, or our trees, I should say. And back in there is some of his cattle that he wants to rent the pasture for. Anyway, it's also the other thing Charlene reminded me of is that, boy, the locusts are either that or those cicadas are really out here in fine style already. But this guy's name is John Neal. I don't know if I said that or not, but boy, he really did a nice job. Look at his little diving board over there. And he's got a boat dock here somewhere if I can get it. Right there it is. So this is boy, it's a beautiful pond that he has put in here. Pretty nice. What I got here is I'm in the creek bed and just kind of looking at how the neighbor fixed his fence in the creek here to maybe give me some ideas about what I might do. I don't think if the cattle wanted in here very bad, he'd keep them out of here from what I've seen. In a minute here I'll go up the creek, but I just wanted to see what he had for fence. And I'm telling you folks, if it could be any hotter, it's very warm. And this is what Big Branch looks like when it's not so big. And folks, this will be, I think, the grand finale. This is that's Mr. Johnson's place up there on the left. And right up there's the big pond. So what I've done is I've gone now completely around the property. And there's the next door neighbors across the road up there. And then back down here into the creek bed again. Anyway, I hope everybody agrees with me that it is just beautiful. And don't know quite what to do yet, but it sure is pretty. This is one of the sites that I neglected to tape last time. This is sort of the woodsy area portion of it. For some reason I realize I'm panning a little bit fast here, but as you can see, there's a bunch of pine trees here. And this is a berm that runs along here that if I was just thinking also would make a neat site to build on top of. And as you can see, there are the two farmers out there. Anyway, this is as you can kind of see, it's a little valley here that and if you'll remember, when I initially started out, I was at a dam. That dam is right up through there. And I'm looking to the southwest now. And you can see how my van, how deep the grass is in this area by the tracks that my van has made. And we came right back through there. Right back there is D Highway. So if you were to come in here, you'd have to come in right through there a lane. Had to come right in through there, and it would be a little close to the creek. But nevertheless, as you can see, this is kind of I think it's just a beautiful area. If anything, it's maybe a little too quiet back here. But it sure is pretty, as you can see. And boy, the cicadas are really out, and it's just about as warm today as it was the other day. And I think that'll be all for right now. Maybe I'll get it right this time. Um, Again, as the last time, there was something kind of spectacular here that I neglected to show. If you remember back when I was doing that fence line and looking what kind of fence the neighbor had, that would be way back over in there. And just as I walked up here, I scared off some sort of a crane, and she must have a nest here somewhere, because she was not very happy about my intrusion here. But you can see that there is kind of some pretty neat waterfalls here, and then there's also some erosion here that looks like I have to do something with. And I'll get it from the other side. This is just a little bit further upstream from where I shot before. You can see they had a pretty heavy rain here last night, so I don't think this water would be normally this deep here, but nevertheless, there's some really neat rock structures here that the stream goes through, and that area right there underneath that tree looks like it's fairly deep. So I'm going to walk over there and I'll shoot that a little bit up closer. And here it is again. I don't know if you can see how that drops off like that or not, but there's some rock shelves that just drop off there pretty deep underneath that tree. Pardon me, I'm just trying to focus that a little better. I don't know, maybe it is focused and it's my imagination, but anyway, there's really some really neat rock structures all the way along here, and that's where we found some of those rocks that we have shown you. I believe that'll be all for now. Here's one for Ripley's Believe It or Not, or Saturday night question and answer for 300,000. What are these things? You can see the little wheels that are underneath them there. That's what they rolled on. And you can see about how thick they are. They're here in this well, we'll try it with the wonder how long I've had this way. These are laying out in the middle of the pasture in a hole, and as you can see, they have wheels underneath them. So they must have rolled along something fairly smooth. I thought maybe they were coal cars, but I don't think so. I don't know what they are. Maybe something out of a factory somewhere. But they're anti-corrosion material right now that I got to do something with. Folks, I apologize for showing this again, but I noticed I had my reverse on, and it's so hot here that I'm not sure I'm even sane while I'm filming this, but I just wasn't sure if I had my reverse on, so I thought I'd better come back and show you this. Another thing that's really neat, I forgot to mention, is they had severe rains here. And look at the water, it's just crystal clear. I'm going to go back up and get that now. This is that pool from a little bit different angle. And again, as you can see, this water, even though it just they had a terrible storm down here, you can see how clear it is. And way back up there again is where that fence was that very first time I said that this was a neighbor's fence. And I walked across right there like it's meant to walk across, and of course there's little pools all around here like that one right there that are just meant for little boys to play in like me. Anyway, it's pretty neat.